So we've come to the synonymous and infamous Collingham Weir fishery on the River Trent. Not only is it known for its numbers of barbel, but it's known for its huge barbel as well. So we're going to put the rods out and try and catch a giant for camera. Fingers crossed. Few baits I wouldn't go anywhere without, let alone, you know, the Trent. Can't leave without boilie, especially when you're getting nighttime bites. You want to be certain that your bait's still on the hook, and there's no other bait that guarantees that other than a boilie. These are 16 millers. They've been soaking in pellet oil for about a couple of weeks. Realistically, you could put 2 of these on the hair and it wouldn't make a difference to the barbel in here. You know, some of the baits you can fish are huge for barbel sometimes. So always bring a good supply of boilie with me. I've got some pre-drilled pellet. These are actually 8 millers, and I would probably put about 3 or 4 of them on a hair, make it a nice long bait like that. They do come in different sizes. You can get them up to about 25 mil, and I think, you know, even that wouldn't be too big a bait for in here. But I like to use small pellets like this because that's what I've got in my ground bait, so it's kind of matching what I'm feeding. And then, you know, the most famous barbel bait of all, luncheon meat. I would say that's quite a small bait for me. That's about 1 inch square. In some places I use huge pieces of meat when I'm rolling it in between streamer weed, but for here, when you're casting a long way and you want to make sure that bait's on the hook once the feeder hits the water, this is the perfect size. So this has actually just got a bit of garlic powder thrown on it, and then it's been in and out of the freezer a few times, to be fair, so stinks to high heaven. Perfect for here as we go into dusk. Those are my free hook baits that I'll fish all the way through the 2-day session that I'm here for. I'm putting everything through 3-ounce open end feeders. This is tidal here, so when the tide's pulling and pushing, sometimes you might need to up that, maybe go up to 5 ounces, but 3 ounces is perfect for the majority of the fishing you're going to do. What I'm putting through it, my ground bait mix, really is just a lot of stuff from my freezer. So I've got a lot of hemp in there. I've got various size pellets, 2 mil, 4 mil, 6 mil and 8 mil. I've got a fish meal based binder as a ground bait. I've got a few boilies in there from what I'm using as a hook bait, just kind of crushed up with my fingers. I found a couple of pints of dead maggot in the freezer as well, so I've included them. And really, I'm just trying to get a nice bed of bait in the same area and let them fish pull up from downstream or pull across from the weir, find that bait, hone in on it, and try and hold the fish in the area so I can have a few fish rather than just the odd 1 or 2. So I'm casting about every 15 minutes at the moment. These fish in Collingham Weir see bait every day of the year, and so it's not a shock to them. If I was fishing a smaller river, like the Lee or parts of the Dove, then I might have a little bit of a different approach. So I've just 16 mil boilie straight on the hair like that. I'll probably put a bit of paste around it as well. You know, that's a really good way of adding a bit of extra attraction to your hook bait. So I just take a bit of paste, just mold it in your hand a little bit, warm it up, makes it a bit more pliable. You just drop it onto the boilie like that, and then just mold it around it. And what that'll do, that'll just break down slowly, you know, that'll be gone in 10 minutes, you know, by the time I recast, but it'll just, you know, the fish are honing in on your feeder, and then as they're coming up from behind it, they're going to smell that as well, just breaking down in the water. So, you know, you can't, in these bigger waters, in a weir pool as well, where the water's going everywhere, you can't, there's no substitute for added attraction. So that's my hook bait, just with the paste wrapped around it. As I said, baiting up every 10 minutes. Oh, he's a good fish.
He's worth waiting for.
That is a lump, look at that. Right, so the infamous Collingham Weir has not done the business. And last knock-ins, we had some fish last night in the dark, but nothing good enough for camera. And last knock-ins, the tip has just dislodged, almost like the feeder was moving, and then just went over very slowly. And I just struck into a fish, and this was the result. Beautiful, huge barbel. I haven't weighed it. I'm probably going to put it at about 11 pound. Great big torpedo, and just by feeling it, I could probably tell you why the barbel aren't feeding, because this is ice cold. Look at that mouth. Beautiful. What is it? 14.3. 14.3. I think the sling is about 6 ounces. That makes it 13.13, which I'm gonna have to check, could be a personal best. Yes.